The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the number one Contender podcast, the show where your favorite nerds talk all things movie trivia schmodown. I am your host, Jarod the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and joining me, as always, is your resident corruption head, Travis Grossman.
Wait a minute. What'd you just call me?
I've been saying the Dungeon Head thing for like months.
But you didn't say Dungeon Head.
Did I say Corruption Head?
You absolutely did.
I totally read my own name when I said that. Because I was looking in my window to make sure all the lights were on. Because I didn't want to like very obviously while talking do one of these and like look directly up into the hair light next to the TV. And I was like looking real hard, and then I Ron Burgundy myself. But yes, Travis Grossman, the recent corruption convert. Welcome to the family. Not to be mistaken with the gone and hopefully one day forgotten faction of the family. We got jokes today, you guys.
Now that we can agree on.
That we can agree on. Travis, because we don't plan, we figure it out on air. Do you want to start with the New York Live event, or do you want to close at the New York Live event?
Let's start with the New York. Let's switch it up. Title match goes first.
Well, all right, talk about the title match first. Well, I mean the event.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get it right. Because I feel like if I say his name wrong, he will show up in the studio and probably like shank me. So Downtown Griffey Nooms. We've known he's a monster. We've seen him. We've seen him.
He has
do
played the
monstrous
him and Josh
shit.
Hartwitt's man. They played the fastest Schmodown match ever done, clocking in at 3 minutes according to Spotify. They have the wrong audio up on Spotify, and it's like 3 minutes cut from like the beginning of the live event. Like it's just 3 minutes of Christian and Mark being like, "It's so great to be back," and that's it. And they haven't fixed it all week.
That's funny. That is legitimately funny.
Yeah,
we only laugh because I have uploaded the wrong show before, so I can point and laugh at that.
I was sitting there last night like, I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I didn't watch a match this week. What am I forgetting? I never actually watched Griffey Nooms and Josh Horowitz.
Downtown Griffey Nooms.
Downtown Griffey Nooms.
It's like a reverse Candyman situation.
If you say it wrong three times.
If you say it wrong 3 times, he just shows up with like a New York style pizza and an ice pick.
We should say more. I want him to show up.
We'll have to get a hold of him. At least try to. There's a couple members of the exchange who follow either us individually or TNAP as a collective. So we might be able to get a hold of some of them. I have not been fruitful in my DMing lately. But yeah, no, I also watched this one last night because whenever the live event came around, I got to it slightly late. So I very much was like, I'm just going to watch the main event now. And then go back
to it.
because I saw how it ended. I saw that it was a 6-19 blowout.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, when it comes time to watch this, this will be a quick watch. You know, no disrespect to Josh Horowitz, and like
he had a rough day. It happens, you know.
It happens to the best players, man. Like there are gonna be days where you just have shit. You just get questions that are shit for you. This man had Batman level prep time, as made evident by the jacket change, which was so silly and funny, and I loved it so much.
I didn't realize it was a Pixar jacket until after he like went up to the wheel for himself.
Yeah.
So like, why is he's just changing the jacket for effect? Okay, give him Pixar. Okay, comes up to the wheel and he's wearing his Pixar jacket. Oh, I understand now.
It truly has been a while. And how do I put this? Because I don't want to just like shortchange Chandru. But okay. I think this is like our first in a hot minute equal parts showman and trivia wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Like truly equal parts, and both of those equal parts are at 100% all the time.
And
the reason I say not Chandru is that like Chandru's main thing is just kind of being a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Downtown Griffey Nooms has like the jacket changes and the up, give me a point, please. Like there's a lot of like charm to it. He's got the pink gloves, like he's got a costume. Like there's a lot of flair there.
Yeah.
That I think will make him very entertaining when the Schmodown does kind of revert more to the pro wrestling side of things again. That will make
oh my
him
god,
an
he's so
interesting
fun
commodity.
to watch. He is so fun. And like I was like he just had me laughing the entire time. Both in disbelief that he's like answering questions that easily, and also just to like give me the point, please. I have to finish the question, okay? It's B. Give me the point, please.
It was really funny, and I felt bad because, like, Downtown Griffey Nooms is putting on this show. Like, it's just like it's just like the meme of that's like on TikTok all the time that people put over Batman footage.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like the guy getting like beaten into the ground. Just spare me. Just people think I fight to save the day. But really, man, I just like to fight. Like it's just like that. Just boom, 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 boom. Like you could like put this over an Omni-Man meme, like it was just like the absolute shit kicking. And I felt bad because like Horowitz, the Carpathian, he's great. Like we've seen him like haul ass this season. He had a great match this week in teams. But god damn, like like his performance at the live event is not indicative of his overall performance as a player. And we know that. It just was like there was a part of me that was like, I don't want to enjoy what Downtown Griffey Nooms is doing too much because I feel like part of it's at Horowitz's expense. And like he low-key already was like, can I go home now? I felt bad for the guy. But he was a trooper in the post game. So like mad respect there. But yeah, goddamn.
3-minute match. I tell you what, it's insane these days how quick these matches are going.
Well, so that I can maximize the amount of matches I can watch in a sitting, and because I do put the shit on 2x speed most of the time. I've gotten really good at like understanding what I'm hearing at like the rapid fire speed. And I kind of got distracted by the fact because for a moment I forgot that it was supposed to be the one that ends very slightly abruptly, and then went back and went, oh god, oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, well, time for Lon and Murrell because, like I said, I watched this one last night. But yeah, any more for Horowitz Nooms?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. Moving on to the best match of the year, best match that will ever happen, best match we will ever see. One moment. Excuse me for one moment. Travis, vamp on McKee v. Ellison.
Worst match of the year. Absolute worst match we've seen. Oh, yeah, I'm kidding. Although I'm surprised he said best because it didn't involve Mike. And that is a shock to me. But regardless, yeah, I don't know what to say when he's not here. This is kind of strange. It was a good match. I am done predicting matches from Marisol McKee because I just get them wrong every time. And she is way better than I've ever given her credit for. What's up?
Hello, I had a quick visitor at the door that I had to address. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think what I heard at the tail end there was like, we all know Marisol is incredibly good, but slightly underestimated regardless. That I keep predicting that she's going to lose, and then she doesn't lose, and that's not. I don't predict she's going to lose like because of her, right? I've never. Oh yeah.
I hope I've never given the aura of women can't be champions. That isn't how this works. Women.
Travis joins the Phantom Menace.
Ew.
No, I don't think you've ever given that vibe. I don't think anybody is foolhardy enough to think you think that.
But yeah,
in the same way that, like, you know, we've both like put a lot of money against Chandru. That there's nothing discriminatory about our, you know, putting money against Chandru. It's just that he's a villain and we're meant to root against him.
Mm-hmm.
And also he ends up playing people we have liked since day one's, your Robert Parker's, my Chance and Mike's, you know, Smets. So I understand what you're getting at there. I was very curious where they were going plotline wise with this. Also, real quick, not like it needs corrected because like we saw the thing that actually happened. I am surprised Shannon did manage both.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that eventually that kind of devolved into a managing nobody. Like there was it seemed like it was very much like an in-between round prep talk and then or pep talk rather, and then like going into any rounds that require strategy. She was just like, love you guys. Like which I don't blame her for, you know, like she said, like, this is different than the corruption invitational that happened last year in the IG tournament. You know, like the stakes are higher here. This is a different ball game. Like, you know, the shit's real. Shit's real here in this instance. So I don't blame her for her strategy being don't touch it. So yeah, Travis.
This is unrelated to this match. Have they had a reason why they haven't been showing the manager talk in not studio matches?
I don't know, probably to just get people used to not seeing it anymore.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
because I
my
noticed
guess.
it. Because like that's where the ad breaks were for me that when I watched the couple that I watched, and they definitely the ad came back and they were on the wheel, and I was like, "Excuse me, I think we're missing something."
Yeah, no, I would just guesstimate that since we're moving closer and closer back to in-studio matches, that they're trying to like wean us off of getting to see what was arguably the best part of the digital era. Um, Also, can we just talk about how like cinematically this wheel was? Just how cinematically the wheel round happened. Like
What do you
first
mean by
live
that?
event back in New York.
Oh, right.
First spin, Merrell Street, baby. Oh my god. I was so happy. I
She
was
got
so
spun
happy.
twice.
She got spun twice. Oh, the
His
the
chan-
power, the power
his,
that wheel had that night.
his
It's
chance
like
spun it too.
electricity. Yeah. Yeah, it was like the electricity was like boil like popping off of it. Um I was honestly expecting it to get spun in the betting round too.
That would
Like
have
I
been
was
great.
convinced. I was convinced it was going to happen. Um, but yeah, no, this one was incredible. I was very impressed by everybody as always. No, Marisol had a killer round two. Absolutely came to play in round two, as has been like. It feels like round two is her like this is where I'm gonna start, dropping wombo combos on people round, like especially in the 5-round format. And I'm also curious to see what she does now. Now, obviously, she's still in the teams tournament, so she's not completely like off to go start prepping. But the teams tournament isn't going to be lasting so like super much longer. Like it's a pretty small bracket.
Yeah, I think Deception played round one yet?
Yeah, it was uno momento, por favor. I can see them. Chaos Theory.
Ah, right. And like I know they've played. Who did they play? Ah, they played they played rookies. Who did they play?
Yeah, they went to
It's been
sudden death with Chaos Theory.
it's been more than a week. It never happened. I forgot all about it. But yeah, so I guess they have a round two, and if they win that, they have the finals. So they only have two left there.
Yeah. So like that gives her like a month and a half of just kind of locking herself within the corruption castle and just movie. And I'm looking forward to see what kind of beast you let off its chain when you give her that much time to prep and like field training, as it were, like being able to like get into teams and like actually play against somebody.
Mm.
On top of the like gotta keep the belt training that's happening. And she's also looking at having one hell of an opponent no matter who wins this tournament at this point. Like like you were gonna have a heavy hitter win this tournament no matter what, no matter who it was. It's all straight shooters, right? It's like everybody on here is a straight monster. Her work is going to be cut out for her, and her opponent's work is cut out for them, whoever it ends up being, But I am very, very excited to see whom she ends up playing against at the Spectacular. Talking plot line for a little bit here. We had, okay, so first of all, I liked Shannon's speeches. I like that the story ended up being, you can't divide corruption the way they could swag. I thought that was cool. I enjoyed the way they kind of played with all of that. I thought it was neat. I thought it was fun. It's crazy because, I mean, I don't know what Shannon does or has done outside of like this and being a nurse. I assume she's a nurse because I see her in scrubs on her social media. This woman has like incredible stage presence.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some managers who have risen to prominence in the digital age whom I would not be surprised if trying to, shake the Warglaive live in front of a studio audience, it kind of didn't work because we've been in front of computer screens for a year and a half. But like the fact that I can't think, like I don't know or think that Shannon has any type of on-stage or performance history, and she can just kind of saunter on stage and just command the audience. Like that's just impressive. Like someone get this girl in some improv classes or something. Like she's great. She's just a great performer. Speaking of great performers, we did speculate that this is what would come of Paulo Yama's title shot. It was fleeting. We both were like, oh yeah, what if he gives it to Chandru at one point? But yeah, Chandru will be cutting in. So between Kalinowski v. Moses and Spectacular, Mr. Dondapani will be playing against the winner of Mike Kalinowski versus Amaru Moses. And then whomever wins the winner of that versus Chandru will play Robert
at
Parker at Spectacular. Travis, thoughts?
It is strange to me. This is like, I understand why. We talked about this a little off air. We both understand the point. I feel like, we said two things. One, Chandru, then, like, assuming he wins both times, picks up 14 points for swag. Right? So, good chunk of change. Paul's still in the tournament. Right?
Yes.
And still not in LA. So if he were to cash in that card, he has to make it to LA, play in that title match, go home. If he wins the tournament, fly back out for the title match for the Spectacular. Like, it's such a hassle that I don't blame him for being like, hey, what if I just keep playing in the tournament, and if I win the tournament, we can come out for a Spectacular. Otherwise, just let Chandru do the thing, and we'll do it. Like you guys can do in live taping for the match.
Yes, and I also think that the point game here is also interesting because it looks like Winston is going for this absolute Hail Mary, where
because you could do it either way, right? Because like if you let Paul still use it, he goes for teams, right? Him and Lon go up against Shazam for the title, and it's still the same point spread. I think that you're more like your sure matchup is with Chandru. I think is what they're going for. That like
I agree with that logic.
Chandru's either playing Mike, who he's at least played against before, so now he's more comfortable in that position. Amaru, who's a rookie, or Parker, who he's beat before. So, well, it will be Parker if he wins the first one, So, like, your Spectacular match, you're already favored because you've done it before, and you'll be the champion. So, You feel good
you're defending, and also you've beaten them before.
And then if he's playing Mike, he's played Mike before. He knows what that feels like. He's not going to be more comfortable this time. And if he's playing Amaru, he's playing a rookie, and he can leverage that to his advantage. Not that Amaru's a bad player, but like
no, it's just Chandru's been around longer and is more practiced.
So it feels like they're just trying to, like, this feels more sure, more safe, and we're going to go with it and see what happens.
Well,
Kind of thing.
I was planning on doing it at the end, but just to like bring up the standings real quick. There's a whole lot of legwork that needs to happen to get Swag out of the hole. You know, I think that, like I said, Paul in the tournament, Laura Kelly maybe running the Star Wars tournament, and then Chandru's title shot. You know, that's a lot of potential points.
It's not enough,
I don't think it's enough. Like, you need everybody to walk away with the belt they're going for.
Say with Deception and Mike still in the singles, like in the tournaments they're in.
Yeah.
And
you have to dance around the other people who are still in play. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mike's still the IG champion, right? So if he wins the first one against Amaru, Brendan is still in the tournament. Bibbs is still in the tournament. They're Shazam's still the champion, so they get their champion match. That'll probably be. They have a good chance of winning that, at this point.
Yeah. There's very much a not zero chance that they win their championship match.
Yeah. Diana's still in the tournament for the dungeon, right? So it's the morning.
Yeah. No, everything you're saying is right. I think Swag needs a miracle.
I'm not sure they can do it.
Stranger things have happened, like Corruption was completely in the dirt last season. And
yeah, but they were in the dirt like at the beginning of tournament season. We're mid-tournament season.
Good point. Like,
I don't think mathematically they can catch up.
You're right. I'm saying getting out of the bottom third, maybe. I think Laura Kelly will get them out of the bottom third. But it's still not quite enough. But yeah, congratulations to the defending champion, Marisol McKee. Congratulations to the Cobra on an excellent game played. You guys are legends. I cannot wait for more from all parties involved. Moving right along to the matches of this week.
I guess technically they could do it. Sorry, I was just doing the math in my head.
No, you're good.
They could do it. With the points they have available to them now, I think they could catch up to where Corruption and the Dungeon are now. And then if the Dungeon and Corruption win any more matches, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, like I said, miracle.
So,
Alex the Demon Damon versus Molly the Maverick Damon.
A Damon won.
Spoilers. Someone who lives at the Damon household won this. This was really good. I had a lot of fun watching this one. Even though it didn't get upheld, brilliant challenge from Adam Witt. Like, that was smart.
Having Adam Witt as a manager during a Star Wars match must be such a blessing.
You literally have somebody else who knows who the hell Bib Fortuna is as your manager. Oh, thank God. No disrespect to.
We've already.
like, Kate, or I'd even say like Sam, who probably aren't super up and up on like their Star Wars or IG. Like I would like going into an IG match, like if Winston Marshall is my my manager, I can breathe easy because I know he can like rattle off several different iterations of the Justice League's roster.
Mm-hmm.
So if he detects some bullshit, like it's nice to when your manager knows the shit too. Like I was definitely an advantage Molly had going in, and I'm glad they tried to leverage it because I thought he was right. I did the same thing he did, where I flip-flopped the conversation between Cassian and Saw Gerrera. I did the same exact thing Adam Witt did. It's still a clever challenge.
I think if this goes the way we think it's going and Adam gets his own faction, or at least becomes a manager like full-time next season, he's going to take somebody places for sure.
I mean, he might. Like I said, I know at the beginning of the year, as much as I don't want to see it happen, Winston was talking about his schedule getting kind of crazy. The faction. I mean, I think the number of factions will be staying the same. So if Winston takes a step back after this season, I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought they said people like managers could establish factions again. Like, as long as you had the players to do it and they wanted to, you could establish a faction next season.
Okay, I'll take that.
Was how I understood. So like because Adam can manage players and not have a faction. And then if he has a faction's worth of players and they're like, yeah, we want to do this, Adam Witt has a faction.
Okay.
They'll be called the Witty Wits.
The Witty Wits.
They'll win all of their tournaments. They'll all be exact even games, but they'll win on the best challenges ever made in Showdown history.
Yes. This was a good one. I was very entertained. I can't remember what it was. But Alex is 2. And his like that's a 2-pointer.
Oh,
that's a 2. It was very funny. Here, I'm going down to the time codes here. I was just very entertained by it. Huh?
So those time codes have helped me so much.
Right.
Because like I love the pre and post game stuff. It's very enjoyable. Your boy sometimes just needs to power through the match.
That's valid. Oh yeah, in The Empire Strikes Back, what is the name of the silver droid seen on Cloud City?
The silver 3PO droid.
Yeah,
specifically.
Silver. Yeah,
which I thought was a weird way to ask that question.
Yeah, protocol droid. But yeah, no, this is a good one. They were both on fire. There was very much like a swagger to both of them where they were just like, spin it, take it, let's go. I really, next year, if she's still playing, and again, like, I don't know what factions and shit will look like or anything like that. I really like, assuming our prediction comes to pass, where Alex runs the tournament and gets to have his like Rocky versus Ivan fight against Tom Harper, and if he wins, I would love to get to see Molly have like a moment. I know that like saying that like while Alex is the champion, she's not playing in his shadow doesn't make much sense. But like, I want her to be able to play outside of a pool that involves Alex again. Like I really liked like Molly did really well this season, and I really enjoyed watching her play. And part of me would also like to see how she does in the Inner Geekdom. I don't think she would do terribly, but I don't know. As fun as this was, I think, and this is not a slight against her or anybody in the division. It's just one of those, like, Alex Damon is a demon. And putting him in a tournament is a lot to digest. And I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of Molly in this tournament, and would have liked to have seen her in a situation where she doesn't, within round one, have to go up against the longest reigning champion in the history of the game. You know, like, it's not a slight against anybody. The sooner we can get Alex out of a tournament, the better. Because it's like, I don't know, it's like one of those like you have like the grid of a bunch of like super powered characters, and it's like you have $15 to defeat all the other characters, and they're all kind of like listed out. But you say, no, I'm not going to follow the rules. So you just pick the entire top row, and it's like One Punch Man, Goku, Superman, God and Legends, Luke Skywalker, and it's like, oh, geez, I wonder if you'll win, where it's like you just kind of like broke the mold. I think Alex is such like an overpowered player and so good at what he does that, like, in the same way where like you put Dan Murrell in a tournament and it's like, oh boy, here we go. Like, he's just going to be throwing elbows through this tournament to get to the front. The same thing with Alex, and like they're good enough to do that. So like, good on them. It's not a bad thing. But, especially in a small tournament like the one we have here, like if it were 2 Star Wars players per faction, I think it might be a little bit more exciting. Because there's more people involved. It'll last a little longer. Where with this one, like, I feel like, bless you / I hope you're okay.
That hurt my ribs.
I'm sorry, buddy. I was doing the same thing too. These like, oh, it's slowly turning into fall allergies have been brutal. But yeah, no, I don't dislike seeing Alex in the tournament, but I like a tournament where anything could happen.
If that still have that,
we definitely do still have that. I just think the odds are hugely in his favor, and even if it was like a bigger bracket, I think I would be slightly more happy. A lot of the people
in a few minutes, but like Dan almost lost.
I don't want to say this to make it sound like I don't often agree with Frank. But Frank Janish had a tweet last night, and I don't think I've ever agreed with Frank more in my life. If he and I are on the same wavelength, because he was kind of being vague in his tweet to avoid spoilers. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about it when we get to it. But yeah, no, regardless, this is a great match. Both of them are adorable. As everybody says, they're the first couple of Star Wars internet. This is a lovely match. Press room versus the old guard.
I have thoughts about this match. You ready?
Yeah.
I think you should vamp while I go get an allergy pill.
I think this match was a lot of fun. I was happy to see Josh Horowitz doing the damn thing again post New York. It was nice to see him back in action. This is a fun one. It was one of those matches where everybody was kind of all over the place a little bit. Where it would be like, like kind of going through the team's grid. I'm doing a lot of gesturing for the video watchers, so audio listeners, I apologize. But like going through like the team's grid where it was like had it, didn't have it, or had it, didn't have it, had it type stuff going on there. Yeah, I think Josh absolutely redeemed himself pulling in the perfect round here. He had, he's playing against, say what you will about Mark Riley. I think some of the shit talk that happens about Yodi is undeserved. He may not be in his prime anymore, but he's still a hell of a player and he's still a hell of a threat.
And I will say, watching him and
Alonzo Duralde.
Oh, thank you. I could see like the letters, but they were jumbled, and I knew the general structure of his name. Seeing him and Alonzo be a team was really fun. I like it really well.
I like them as a team. I hope this sticks together post tournament season because I'd love to see them in just general play when the stakes are lower.
Like seeing them both like in round 3, seeing Mark be like, "Hey man, I was a little off my game in round 1. I think I should take the 2, and we should put you on the 3. That feels really good to me." And he was like, "Yep, we're good." Like they're called the old guard for a reason. They just kind of know how the game feels, and that's awesome. I love that. Backfired a little bit. That happens. Movie release date sucks as a category. It was Leo, but but I got it right.
Same. We also probably both like for some reason vividly remember the marketing campaigns. I think that's why I'm like okay at movie release dates. Is that so many movie marketing campaigns just got burnt into my goddamn brain as a kid?
Like I'm
capable of going, this is the grade I was in when this movie came out, so this is the year.
I tend to I tend to like narrow it down where I'm like, okay, I know this was like around this time and this was around this time, and like it's the Venn diagram, the circles of time that I know these were both in overlap on this year, so I'm gonna go with that year. Also, they've had enough Oscars questions about Wolf of Wall Street that I knew it was 2013.
And that's another thing, man. Like, there's like it's like the circle of the circle of life for the questions. That other questions give the answers to future ones if you're paying enough attention to the rest of the league. I think the Carpathian redeemed himself here. Speaking of inter-team synergy, I think Perry and Josh also have great synergy. I love the way that Perry was just like, and I granted like a lot of it had to do with the math, but she was like, I feel like it's less bad if I miss the 2 than if I miss the 3. So I'll take the 2, and I feel more confident you'll hit the 3.
I think Perry sells herself short in teams.
I think she does. Perry does not give herself enough credit. I'm not at all, like, by a long shot.
When she played Mike or when she's playing Ben in the tournament, right? There's this weird like willing to go for it that she feels more reserved when she's with Josh. And that's, it's not because Josh is like shoving her in a hole or anything.
No, like, I think it's like there's like a natural inclination to kind of like, in a team setting to not just kind of shoot from the hip constantly. Like, again, like you and I, and again, this is before IG was like, had like a lot of like Alien and Predator and, franchises you and I are super familiar with. But back in the day, whenever like there was like all the conversation that they should do an IG teams league or division, and you and I talked about how like between our combined comic book movie knowledge, the fact that I can throw down in Star Wars, I was like, oh, we'd make a great IG team. But like as individual IG players, I would not play nearly as recklessly as I know I would in like by myself. Like I would throw Hail Marys. I would trust my gut and not check down on stuff and just go for it. And if it was a 2 I didn't know, I missed it. Like I know by myself, I would play a high risk, high reward strategy, and like absolutely put myself on the line. I that's not a strategy I would even almost attempt with another person, because I don't think it's. I understand Perry's like hesitancy, but I also think in singles and in teams, I don't think she is aware of the fact that she is a powerhouse. And it's weird because it's like you're aware that you've like taken out people on Rushmore, right? Like you've held your own with and defeated, and have been around long enough to watch the rise and fall of a lot of players. Like you have a pedigree, man. Like you're hot shit. Act like it, like. But yeah, I think Perry is unaware of like the super strength that she has. But yeah, no, this is a really fun match. I enjoyed it a lot. And like I said, I think Josh redeemed himself. Even though this was probably technically filmed before New York, it came out after. So it feels like redemption after the fact. But yeah. Moving on. Do we only have Lon and Dan left?
Yep. That's why I thought I was missing one yesterday.
Yeah, because there wasn't a pay-per-view last night. Thank God. I was sleepy. Long night. Bad night. So Frank, I want to read his tweet verbatim. I want to just say exactly what the guy said. First off, hats off to both competitors in today's Merrell Harris match. Amazing. However, there was a blunder in this match that was a head scratcher for sure. Because if everything plays out the same except for that one thing, we have a different outcome. Of course, it's easy to point out from where I'm sitting, but man, sometimes in this league, the woulda, coulda, shouldas really get to you. If he is referring to what I was like, what the hell are you doing at my phone? When Dan reacted the way he did to the Who Scored Batman Forever.
Everyone in the comments of the video says the same thing, yeah.
I didn't look in the comments section. Because I avoided it at all costs so I don't get the match spoiled. And then by the time I'm done watching the interviews, I'm like, out for the count.
I looked after the fact because I saw one about like Lon's a legend of the game, or something. And so opened up, again, this was after the match. And like that first comment didn't give away that he lost. It was just like, he should have checked down, or he should recognize when his opponent knows the question. And then after the match, because I missed it, I was half paying attention. I didn't realize Dan gave that reaction.
Yeah, he threw his arms up, and I was like, Lon, check down now. I don't know. I got super into it, and I was super pulling for Lon. I was like, this is a David and Goliath situation. Obviously Lon's incredible, but he has, as we've talked about ad nauseum, the mix of people not knowing where the character and Lon's actual work ethic begin and end. All of the stuff in the fact that it's Dan friggin' Murrell, and if you're playing against Dan Murrell, you are David. And there's no question about it. You are the little guy going up against a legend and a trivia god. And I'm sorry you feel like poop, buddy.
It's a very sudden allergy attack. It's all right.
But, I don't understand why Lon didn't do that. At the very least, the check down would have given Lon the lead going into round... would have maintained Lon's lead going into round 3. Like Frank said, everything happens the same way. This match doesn't go into sudden death. Lon Harris takes out Dan Murrell. in the singles tournament, round 2, match of the year, upset of the year. Like, if that's what Frank is referring to, and seeing as the comment section was ablaze, that has to be it.
Yeah, that's absolutely what he meant. If I'm Lon in that moment, because the other thing that somebody else in the one not ravenous comment was,
and I don't want to kick Lon while he's down. Also, I just want to make that clear. Like, there's no shit talk here to Lon Harris. Like, we love him. It's just one of those, like, what the hell is going on?
The comments are very much the like, I'm a better player than Lon Harris.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So all people who can go yes. Okay.
I will say the one reasonable comment I saw is that Dan's reaction, like besides that he knew it, because he knew it, might have been to the point that he got 3 Batman Forever questions. Like 3 questions about the same film out of 4, which means that you don't have to spread your focus. Like you're focusing on Batman Forever, Batman Forever, Batman Forever. It's just easier to answer.
Yeah.
To speak to Lon's thought process, if I'm in that situation, I get that question, and I have absolutely no idea, right? Like I have maybe a range. If the person Lon had answered was in the multiple choice options, he probably still would have gone with that. Like, and I'm trying, like, if I'm Lon, I want to widen my lead as much as possible. I want to be aggressive. I want to put him that much behind. I want to make sure Dan has to hit his 5 before I hit my 5. And he went for it, and he missed. I don't think that was a misplay. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to take that bold hot take stance. I think you don't.
I think part of you got radicalized by a shitty comment section.
I think you're right. But okay, here's the thing. You can. I play a lot of Magic the Gathering. I'm going to become Ben Bateman for a second. Ben mentions the Schmodown and everything that isn't about the Schmodown. Not like aggressively, but he'll like bring it up as a game reference.
I mean, I don't know how he couldn't. I like literally like it's one of your part-time jobs, man. Like, let me take that back. With how much Ben Bateman works, it's one of your full-time jobs.
Because like he did a Magic podcast before, and still does before he did the Schmodown. So like now on that he's like, oh yeah, and I played this movie trivia thing, like all the time. But one thing you have to learn in Magic is that like I've been playing a long time. The lines of play that you can take at any given moment do not account for knowledge you don't have. And so if your opponent has like the card to kill your creature, right? And you don't know about it. You can't. And if they do the thing after, you're like, okay, I'm going to make this play. And they're like, well, I have the counter for that. And you're like, well, it was still the best play. Regardless of if you had that, this is still what I should have done. And you just happened to have the thing to beat me. I think Lon made the right choice. If it was anybody else, if it was anyone but Dan Murrell, it would have been like, yeah, this is what I should do. As high stakes as this match was, like you're playing Dan Murrell, didn't matter. I like Coy's thing for the wheel. When he's talking to his players about the wheel, that you should never pick your category based on what your opponent knows. And I think that's a good reference point, right? You got to focus on what you can do, focus on your knowledge. Lon, shot from the hip, thought he could do it, didn't quite have it. I think anyone else makes that play, it's fine. But because it's Lon Harris playing against Dan Murrell, suddenly it's the misplay of the year. I just don't think it was that, like, and it cost them the match. But
yeah, no, there's absolutely everything you just said is absolutely valid, and there's truth to it. The only like slight pushback I would give in defense of it being a "what the hell are you doing" play on Lon's part, is that he clearly did perceive Dan's reaction as this is easy, because he was like, well, clearly this is an easy question according to Dan. So again, this is where you get like Frank said, like you were saying, there's a lot of shoulda, woulda, coulda, if I was ... Where at that point when the hands get thrown up and I'm like, I'm not even sure, like just for self-preservation, I'm checking down so that he can't take 2 points if I'm wrong.
so let's change this then.
But I agree with you on a lot of what you said. Either way, it's just like I feel like while I do think there's a chance there was like the seriously Batman Forever again. I do think Lon was cognizant of what he was reacting to.
Do you think this same thing happens in a live match, in an in-person match, where they're not directly looking at each other? And maybe Dan gives a slight reaction, and Lon literally doesn't see it.
What, do people react this way to it?
Like
literally
be
outcome and everything?
Yeah, because I didn't notice, right? I heard the question, I heard the answers, so I knew that Dan had stolen it. I wasn't really watching the screen.
Honestly, in a live event, I think it might be worse, because I think that even though Lon might not be looking right at Dan, I think again, same exact thing, but let's say they're at Scum and Villainy,
mm-hmm.
and they're in between the bar island, or on either sides of it, rather. Such and such, who scored Batman Forever, and Dan does one of these and throws his arms up, but he's not in eye line with Lon, so Lon can't see him do it. The audience will start laughing. I think it gets a humorous reaction, and at which point Lon's like, why the fuck are they laughing now? I don't think Lon will get too much in his head about it. And like you said, I think it happens exactly the same way. But I think that there's a chance now for Lon to be like, what's going on? Because now I don't know it, and everybody's laughing like this is easy. When in reality, people are laughing at Dan throwing his arms up, either thinking that question is easy, or he's throwing his arms up because it's like Batman Forever again, So I think if you add a live audience, you end up with a laugh track in that moment, just because it's like a funny what the hell happening from Dan.
But yeah, I'm gonna take my hard stance. I don't think he misplayed. I think he did just fine. I respect a bold strategy. So him not checking down, I respect it. I respect him friggin' swinging for it, but I don't know. I feel like it would have been so much safer to check down, but we don't play. We commentate. And hey, no disrespect to Lon. He's one of my favorites. It happens that way. He had Dan on the ropes, and Dan even said, he's like, Lon deserved to win this match. And I love when Dan is cognizant of the fact that at least in part he's been outplayed. Mm-hmm.
There's been several times where Dan has uttered the sentence such and such deserved to win. And I think that's born of him recognizing that I was on the ropes and pulled this out of my ass. And it takes a big
someone in the comments, another person in the comments made the point that of Dan's 20 singles wins, he has 3 to attribute to luck. This being one of them, which I would agree with that like Dan got very lucky here. But and that is fairly accurate. And just that, like, statistically speaking, that's insane.
Yeah.
So
I also just as like just a cute thing, and I want to say this about Lon. And let this be the final word on the match, because I really do feel bad, because I do feel like I'm bagging on Lon Harris, and I don't want to. The way his eyes got all big when he spun Batman was so cute. It was where he's on this roll. He picked up a steal on Dan Murrell. He's feeling good. Batman.
Winston, are you Batman?
Yeah, Winston, are you Batman? But yeah, no, great match. They both played like hell. And again, and that's another thing that I think is unfortunate. Like, we spent so much time talking about like the should he have checked down, shouldn't he have? And I think mostly just because I think it's an interesting conversation to have. And like Frank said in his tweet, the shoulda, woulda, couldas are a lot of, they can be a lot in the Schmodown. And I very much wanted to hear your opinion on it. We talked about like the general flow of the match as we went. But I do also, and like I said, we're kind of guilty of it here. The master level gameplay on display here is going to be and is overshadowed by a controversy that's probably going to be forgotten in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And replaced by whatever the latest bad challenge is or whatever. So on the whole,
we never even talked. There was a bad challenge a couple weeks ago. We didn't even talk about it. I think we missed that week. I think
which one was it?
Oh God, I don't remember what match it was. It was one of Sam's matches. Not that his challenge was bad, but I very much disagreed with the ruling.
Was there a challenge in Nikki Dinalanta versus Arsenal?
Maybe. It was like the challenge
like the only suspect matches.
Somebody answered a question, like they said something, or maybe it was the Paige Bateman match.
I did never actually see that one the whole way through, so that might be why it's not jogging my memory yet.
It was because like there were two challenges in like back-to-back weeks of person gave the answer. It wasn't that one. It was in round 2. I remember now. That player gives the answer, pauses, realizes they said something incorrect, and corrects themselves. And the announcers never give the indication of whether or not they were incorrect or not.
They didn't answer. They didn't respond to the answer given. Yeah.
And we saw like one, like the week before, 2 weeks ago, like before that.
Yeah, no, I remember that happening a week prior.
In that one, Sam tried to say, we've established now that this is how this works. And I very much disagree with Christian when he was like, well, no, we don't go off past precedent. And I'm like, you didn't go off past precedent of challenges from years past. But literally last week, this same challenge happened, and this is the ruling.
Was Harlock presiding over that last match, pray tell? I mean, obviously,
no.
like...
It was Mark and Guy, I think, for the one before it, and then it was Christian and Guy, I think, for... So, like, it was just one of those moments of, like... Because the question, she answered wrong, said the right answer, they ruled her incorrect, gave the question to Bateman, but because she had said the correct answer, and not that Bateman knew it anyway, but, like, gave it to Bateman, and then challenged that he needs a new question. So maybe the challenge was wrong. I don't know. The point is, they should have challenged that they did not indicate to her that she got it wrong before she got the correct answer out, because literally a week ago,
Yeah. See, this is why the one match I miss is this bracket bursting, like challenge precedent. God damn it! I miss one. I miss one whole match, and it has that much meat on its bone. Yeah, I think that's all we got this week. Travis, would we like to take a look ahead at next week's matches?
I don't know where our schedule is, but yeah.
I have it in front of me.
Okay.
I was just trying to segue, but that felt weird. That's why I don't segue.
I only know that
bulldoze.
IG is next week.
Laura Kelly versus Gold Leader. Who you got?
Oh God. Laura Kelly, but not by as much as other people will.
I agree with you. Danger Zone versus the Untouchables. Who you got?
Shocker. Danger Zone. I know. Such a surprise.
I think you're right. David Del Rio versus James White. Who you got?
David Del Rio because he plays for the Dungeon.
And I'm going to say James White because he plays for Corruption.
Which leaves us with
friend of the show, Frank the Animal Alvarez versus Rick
right.
the Rager Raditz.
I forgot there was an undercard to the IG.
I did too. I forgot that was Frankie's match.
Frankie.
Friend of the show, Frank Alvarez.
He will win because he's our friend.
Yes, he will win by the power of the Nerd Academy friendship. We're going to loan him Cookie Cop. So if Rick Raditz starts to get a lead, he can just pull it out from under the table, open up his head, and suck Rick Raditz's soul in the Cookie Cop.
So you're going to say he can just take it, pull it out from the podium and just whip it at him so he misses the question?
I was going for the soul consumer joke, but he could also just blunt force trauma Cookie Cop at him. And then lastly, Mike the Killer Kalinowski versus Amaru Moses in the Inner Geekdom pay-per-view match. Who you got?
Gonna say Mike.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not going to bother to answer this question.
Yeah, it's right. I think Mike obviously has the advantage, right? The defending 3-time IG champion. Yeah, I know. And I think that Amaru not having played in a 5-round match before. I say this every time and it never actually matters, but he hasn't played in a 5-round match. He's never played with the buzzer. If he's too wimpy on the betting round.
He did play a 5-rounder against Saul.
That wasn't a 5-rounder.
It wasn't?
No. It was just a regular match.
I thought there were buzzers involved.
No. He knocked him out in round 2.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I'm hallucinating.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm stupid. You're correct.
It was a live match, but it wasn't a 5.
It was live. Every time there are tables, my brain assumes there are buzzers on the table.
Because at this point, that's what.
At least one of the matches will involve buzzers.
Yeah. So yeah, this is Amaru's first 5-pointer, or 5-rounder. And I say this every time, and I'm wrong almost every time, but that could become relevant. He's never played in a match this high stakes. That being said, we know he has the knowledge, right? I'm still going to give it to Mike, but not super, not 80-20 or something. It's like a 60-40.
Yeah.
So
Mike Kalinowski wins 100% of the time. Every time he's going to win this.
Sure, we'll go with that.
He's gonna win. He's gonna win it so hard that Amaru Moses shits.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna get the win in shits. Where the other guy wins so hard that you shit. Travis,
All
where
right,
can the lovely people find you, buddy?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political. Shitting myself over DC fandom today. Because that starts in
An hour.
Jarod,
Yep.
where?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552, shitting in that there trash can because I'm going to be in here all day writing copious notes for DC fandom. Watching all of it. Texting Travis all day long while he's at work. Also, plug. Speaking of fandom, Monday the 18th? Monday the 18th. Go away, calendar. God damn it, go. Monday the 18th at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing our DC Fandom recap live stream. Yes, we are going live for the second time. And for everybody's mental health, this time it's not about Alex Jones or the Fandom Menace. We're just talking about the DC universe. So be sure to tune in for that one. I'm super excited to do a live show with Travis. Very excited to be on a hot mic with a live.
I'm going to use hate speech.
Travis is going to be Alex Jones. But yeah, no, be sure to
Bat's gay.
No, they're putting chemicals in the kryptonite that turn the Kryptonians gay.
We don't need to reference that comic anymore. We can stop now. Have you not seen the pink kryptonite stuff from the 80s or 90s? I think probably the 80s. Maybe the 70s.
Yeah, I didn't see people were making pink kryptonite jokes.
No, just that it's the thing that existed.
Oh, I thought people were making homophobic pink kryptonite jokes about John Kent.
Well, now that you've said it out loud, you gave them ideas.
They don't read the comics. They don't know. Speaking of kryptonite, there's a moment in Dark Knight's Metal, because I'm almost done with it, where Batman does the kind of shit that Batman would do if I had the keys to writing a Batman story, where he just sounds so goofy and unhinged. I can't wait to hear your thoughts when we do Heroic History. But all that said, yes, for me on Twitter and Instagram, DarkJedi2552. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, and on our website, www.thenerdacademy.com. www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Feige's Boomer Burner, Delta 9, Zach Announce, The Waffle Wizard, Michael Armburst, and Alex Jones's Gayest Frog. Be sure to consider the $5 tier where you get access to the KNR Versus series, Heroic History 101, which, like I said, will be back with Dark Knight's Metal sometime soon, and TNAT Movie Club audio commentaries when we are able to do that, because Devin has been very busy, and that is not his fault. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, rate, review, do all the things. We're honored that you have joined us. That is the Star Wars outro. Smash cancer.
Move away from the cookie jar.